We've achieved 9% GDP growth rate. So let's not take away from India's achievement, from the achievement of not only this government, but millions of entrepreneurs across this country.
Mr. Scindia, the question really is, are we going into 2014 elections now? It's too late in the day for you to correct yourself and begin to see the results of that on the ground for the people and for the party. The question really is, did you waste too much time?
Exactly.
How are you going to make up in the next 12 months? That's
exactly.
The
That's the only question.
Well, we are going to go with our track record over. We are going to go to the people of India with our track record of the 5 years, of our approach of inclusive growth, successive economic growth, not withstanding this particular year, which has been 5.5%. I do agree it's been a difficult environment and a difficult year. We've tried to perform our best over this year, but the next fiscal, I certainly hope, will be above 6 to 6.5% growth rate.
Well, Mr. Prasad, last rebut from you. I only want to quip a little bit out here that the only people who compare averages in this kind are the number 8, number 9 and number 10 down in a cricket match, who say to each other, who's going to go next? And one person says, I should go next, I have a strike rate of 11. To which somebody says, but I have a strike rate of 12. It sounds like that. Don't make it like that. Ravi Shankar Prasad's last response, he was raising his hand at the...
Yes, I have to go to other channel. My very quick last response is this, that yes, we laid the foundation of growth, infrastructure, inflation under control, India's economy in a happy state. When we demitted office, they reaped the benefit for a couple of 2-3 years, and thereafter, their gross mismanagement overtook the entire economy. We are seeing the bad scenario which we are witnessing today. I would again like to flag all these big dreams which my very good friend Jyotiradittya Scindia is talking about. How it is going to happen in the 10th year, which is the last year of this government, before the elections take place. Is there going to be any improvement? Is there going to be any delivery? Are they going to compensate for deficit of good governance? Are we not going to have a big scam again? There is a lot of imponderables. And when the finance minister realizes the imponderables, the lack of elbow room in which he operates, let's leave it at that. It is not a growth-oriented budget. It is just ad hocism and window dressing. Thank you.
I'll only say this to all the politicians today. Be careful when you import luxury cars, when you import motorcycles, when you drive them in Raisina Hill over 800cc, when you wag around your smartphones. Mr. Sitaram
I have no such problem.
Be careful.
I have no such problem.
Be careful about your cigars and cigarettes.
What do you call, keep the cigarette.
Cheap cigarette ka bhi bhav badha. Gentlemen, you're going to stop smoking after this? Do you stop smoking after this?
I did, but then I got back. You see, the whole point is, in Sitaram's mouth, you'll always find a charm.
Okay, gentlemen, the biggest surprise in this country of 1.2 billion people is that there are only 42,800 high net worth individuals. I just cannot believe that. The political debate continues. What was that taxing the super rich all about? How effective is it, given the situation that we are in? Ms. Jyotiradittya, thank you very much. Ravi Shankar Prasad, thank you very much. Back in 2 minutes on the Budget Day Roundtable. This is the last roundtable. Our political panel continues in 2 minutes.
ये है उभरता हुआ भारत। इसकी गारंटी कौन लेता है? आसमान को छूती इमारतों में चैन की नींद की गारंटी।
JK Lakshmi Cement, मजबूती guaranteed.
A trend on the street goes big online, which triggers your software that crunches the data, which begins production and reroutes distribution, which means you're ready. Some companies have increased online revenue up to 50% with help from smarter commerce. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
Budget Update brought to you by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group.
बरसों की रिसर्च से बना लिव प्योर, इंडियाज फर्स्ट इंटेलिजेंट आरओ वाटर प्यूरिफायर जो दे सबसे शुद्ध पानी।
Come on India, live pure.
Toyota, Wakudoki, inside.
A trend on the street goes big online, which triggers your software that crunches the data, which begins production and reroutes distribution, which means you're ready. Some companies have increased online revenue up to 50% with help from smarter commerce. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
This is coal and this is water. Good. Now let's take lots of coal and a little water. They generate X amount of power. But because so much coal was used, the earth... Let's change things around. This is coal and this is water. Okay, now let's knock off some coal and add some water. Ah, that's a good mix. They generate the same amount of power as before. But guess what? Because we make more hydropower, which is greener, the earth stays beautiful. This is just one of the many ways in which we create power for a happy planet. Jai Prakash Power Ventures Limited, the power to do good.
Life's ups and downs, we help you bounce back. Max for life.
Bringing the world together, building the world together. Binani Cement for generations to come.
A trend on the street goes big online, which triggers your software that crunches the data, which begins production and reroutes distribution, which means you're ready. Some companies have increased online revenue up to 50% with help from smarter commerce. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
Welcome back to Budget Day Live. This is our last panel, a big political panel, and Smriti Irani joins our panel now from the BJP. Also joining us from an outside location representing no political party, just the president of the FICCI and head of HSBC, Nainalal Kedwai. Ms. Kedwai, this is a political panel, but we aren't politicians, and a few of us on the panel aren't politicians, so Please don't feel out of place in this. Atul Kumar Anjan, representing National Secretary of the Communist Party of India. BJ Panda, representing the BJD. Madhu Gaud Yakshi, representing the Congress Party. Omkar Goswami and Lord Meghnath Desai. Navika Kumar continues to be there with us. Smriti, I have an interesting quote. I don't know if you missed it. Chidambaram says in one part of his speech, quoting Joseph Stiglitz, Nobel Prize-winning laureate, he says there is a compelling moral case for equity, but it is also necessary if it is to be sustained. It is also necessary if there is to be sustained growth. A country's most important resource is its people. And then he goes on to say, we have examples of states growing at a fast rate, but leaving behind women, don't give me that tired expression, leaving behind scheduled castes, leaving behind scheduled tribes, leaving behind minorities and leaving behind some backward classes. My quiz question to you is, which state, this is the KBC question on the news hour, which state, Smriti Irani, in your view, was Chidambaram talking about? Three choices. Haryana, Assam, West Bengal, or Gujarat.
You know, it's not encouraging that you ask me a KBC question on a day that there is a surcharge if you win more than 1 crore. I think that it was once very famously said by a US politician about a certain budget, that this is an attempt to smoke the numbers, cook the books, hide the truth and hope that nobody finds out. I heard Mr. Sindhi.
Which state was he referring to?
I heard, no, since you are gleefully referring to Gujarat, I heard Mr. Sindhi before I came on.
You choose D. Yeah.
I don't choose anything. I'm wanting to put a statement of fact before you. And it's unfortunate that I don't think Mr. Sindhia is around anymore. But I heard his vehement defense of his ministry and that of his government on your channel just before I came on. And he spoke about his 100 days of performance. Now, very humbly, as a member of parliament who represents Gujarat, I would like to submit to you that while Mr. Chidambaram today speaks of those who are left behind, here is a state like Gujarat which has surplus power. And when we decide that let us share it with states which have a challenge with regards to power, we find that there are constraints in the inter-regional transmission corridor. We write to the government of India as early as Feb 3rd, 2011. Now, while Mr. Sindhia speaks about his 100 days of performance, as of the 13th of December 2012, we receive a letter from the government stating that this issue for which states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala have gone to the Supreme Court, have gone to the government stating that when there is surplus power. I'm answering a lot of your questions. I see that you're clearly enamored by Mr. Chidambaram's rhetoric about women, and I am holding with me papers which include the action taken report of the government so that I can put forth to you what the government thinks of its own performance. Here is a government which speaks about timely reforms, which speaks about solutions to those who need it, but does not act in a timely fashion. Now, I'm not going to repeat the oft-heard, challenges with regards to clearances in the infrastructure segment. Since you talk particularly about women and youth, and Mr. Chidambaram leaves no opportunity to speak about skills, let me here say that when Mr. Jaitley, Arnab, let me finish. When Mr. Jaitley speaks about jugglery, he speaks about it, I believe, on the basis of what has been read in the mid-year economic analysis of the government. Now, in the last budget, the same government had announced a 1,000 crore budget for the National Skill Development Fund, and that the government itself in December 2012 says that in view of present fund position, it has been decided not to allocate funds to the National Skill Development Fund, and now in Feb, the same government goes ahead and announces the same scheme again, announces the same allocation again. Now, for all those people who are extremely enamored by the Mahila Bank, while I welcome the fact that Mr. Chidambaram has suddenly thought about a Mahila Bank and not told us when the branches and where the branches of this bank will open so that women can avail of its services, I would like to attract your attention to the fact that in the last budget speech, the same government led by the Congress party had announced that to ensure the financial health of public sector banks, a provision of 15,888 crores will be made. And as of December 2012, the same government allocates only 200 crores. So given the past performance of this government with regards to implementation of so-called announcements, pardon me,
I'll have to wait in everyone.
With a pinch of salt.
Actually, your answer could have been very simple to my very simple question. You could have said, Arnab, the state that Mr. Chidambaram...
I'll give you as many simple answers as you desire.
You could have said, Arnab, the state Mr. Chidambaram is referring to is Gujarat. However, you've raised some other important points. I know you said so. Otherwise, we'll keep the question rolling.
I refer to the power crisis and the fact that Gujarat has a solution which the government does not want to accept.
Madhu Gaudiakshi, Smriti Irani in her opening comments has accused your government of insincerity with the Mahila Bank, of trying to fudge numbers by actually promising funds and not ever giving them. And she's also rebutted the charge on Gujarat, which Chidambaram referred to, saying your government has a perennial problem with trying to discriminate non-Congress rule states. Your response to it? Because what you're being accused of is complete hypocrisy.
Answer your question.
That's all right.
Answer about the Mahila, women and minority people and rural sector, which is Gujarat boasting about growth in the state, ignoring the minority welfare and women welfare and rural areas. So which is clearly evident. Congress has consistently stood for the Mahilas, women empowerment, right from the local bodies reservation during Rajiv's time onwards. So whatever we said it and we're committed for it, and we always implemented it.
She said she could give you an example.
National skill development. No, it's a national skill development started last year, and today in the budget allocate another 1,000 crores to having 1 lakh, 10 lakh youth can be empowered by getting a skill training and make them available to the jobs, and which is. And also 1,000 crores to the Mahila Bank to...
Yes, Smriti. 1 minute. Smriti, I'll come back to you.
Consistent stand and committed, not just making rhetoric, not like India shining what they've done in their own tenure. Congress has delivered what it is promised.
How sincere was Chidambaram's attempt at prudence today, Jay Panda?
Well, I think everybody understands that Mr. Chidambaram was walking on a tight wire. And it's an accumulated list of problems because of misgovernance and mishandling of the economy. So his singular focus was on the fiscal deficit, and he wanted to send a signal that growth is the biggest imperative. And you've seen how the markets have reacted. The initial reaction of the very constituency that he has given the topmost priority to is at best lukewarm.
Almost
tepid, right? Now,
why?
The point is, there is no clarity in the budget. Now, if he was really going to go for that, he wouldn't have had lots of contradictory things in the budget. For instance, you give an incentive for investment in manufacturing companies. At the same time, you increase the taxes on manufacturing companies that make a little extra profit. Let me give you another instance of conflict. Now, you've got this symbolic message of taxing the super rich. Just a couple of months ago, Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik made a proposal to the centre to have a supernormal windfall profits tax on the mining sector, just like Australia has implemented. Many individuals have made hundreds of crores of profit individually. Many companies have made thousands of crores of profit in the mining sector. If you're going to be consistent, if you're going to tax super rich individuals, why do you reject Odisha's proposal to have a windfall profit tax?
Are you pro-corporates? Are you pro big money? Madhu Gaudiakshi, you're on the mat on that question. I'd like to get in Atul Kumar Anjan at this stage. Government is being prudent, is tightening its fist, and yet is improving its allocation to education. It's increased allocation to rural development ministry. In other words, to the poor. You should be extremely happy with Chidambaram's prudent, pragmatic budget this time, despite your personal animosity.
Arnab, from the morning you are discussing and you are dissecting the whole, budget of this government and what we have achieved. Right now, you said correctly that this is the last budget of this government. All facts and figures which has been said as far as the rural development is concerned. Last year also very big claims were there, and it doesn't hold the ground. Now what is happening today? Tell me, is there any money for having the cold chains? You are saying FDI and all that. I'm saying that I'm not saying FDI. We are waiting for FDI. But by that time, 40%, you see, our things will perish. This whole horticulture and all that. And the farmers will not get anything. And one thing, you are talking about the roads and all that. By this road and corridors, more than 3.5 lakh hectares of land will go. From where you will get this? The farmers will get some money. But the main question is
you don't want infrastructure development.
No, infrastructure.
You don't want
No. What is the plan of the government? A very interesting point I'm just going to tell you. There is every year we are getting about 110,000 MBA boys. Where they will be absorbed? 1 lakh MTech, BTech students are coming after paying 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs.
How will they be absorbed in a country that lacks infrastructure?
Our finance minister has our finance minister has
I put that question to Nainalal Kidwai. Nainalal Kidwai.
Our industry is in a position to absorb such numbers of youth.
Well, I think we are hearing different points of view. I want to get in Nainalal Kidwai today. Do you think the initial response is now a little bit more tempered? Nainalal Kidwai, this morning, immediately after the budget, there was a sense of ebullience. Has that been tempered down a bit?
If you are asking for industry's viewpoint, Arnab, I do believe that there is a firm view that this is a responsible budget. And that comes largely from the fact that there was a fear that there would be a playing to the gallery and a populist budget which would in fact not be prudent. What we have, and which is an objective which frankly we do believe will be achieved, is a fiscal deficit of 4.8. It's not going to be easy, because when you look at the revenue side of how we are going to get there as a country, those numbers are quite large. The good news there is, and which is what I think industry feels good about, is industry has been crying for growth. And now, through this budget, growth is central to the plan. Without growth, we do not achieve that fiscal deficit. Without growth, in fact, we would have a real issue. And Chidambaram started his entire speech by talking about growth and the fact that growth was critical to see sustainable development of the country. So I think just in terms of a fiscal deficit being controlled and growth being settled to the agenda, we still have reason for, I won't say celebration, but at least for relief and indeed some measure of confidence that we are headed in the right direction. And let's not look at the budget for everything. After all, to sort through a lot of the messes which we have heard described, the issues around regulatory frameworks, delivery of projects which are stuck, all of this lies squarely with ministries and government outside of the budget. The budget fortunately touches on this, and I would hope that following through on the delivery is going to be important in the immediate future, because we do have a crisis on our hands.
I want to test this budget on an index of sincerity. And here's my question. We are talking about prudence. Now, everybody has completely torn apart NREGA. You've had government meetings, all kinds of criticism. There's a drop in the work generated, massive drop. There is huge delays in the payment of wages. Why has another 33,000 crores been added to this scheme when the very purpose of this scheme needs to be reworked? I'm just putting this question out, because if there's so much prudence, why are you sentimental about these schemes which have collapsed? Madhu Godeshi, they've collapsed.
No, it's not collapsed.
It has collapsed.
No, it's not true. Like I have a ground experience on this. This is one single act, raised the minimum wages to the unorganized sector. No law could have implemented what NREG scheme has said.
Mr. God, now
we are including even the
minimum wages was not what you went out to address through that. What you were addressing is unemployment and security. It was a kind of social security.
Precisely.
If you're looking at minimum wages, then that's not the law to look at. It's some other law that we have to look at.
It also depends on the states to implement it.
No, but let me give you the most startling statistics. Let me get you the most.
Even the recent railway budget, it is even clubbing with the NREG scheme with the railway.
Like it or not, Narega has raised rural wages at 7% per annum in real terms for the last 5 years. Absolutely. Nothing in the whole world would have achieved that. Whatever the original purpose, That has been, and part of the inflation is because real wages have risen faster than productivity.
Prices have gone up because in rural India people have
I would contest
at least for the first time,
that.
the rural areas have got more than urban areas.
Rural area to find out.
No, I'll tell you why. Because
that's what the government wanted to do, and they've done it.
The projects on the ground are just not there to carry on
that was not the purpose. The purpose was to give money to the poor.
No, that's not the purpose alone. It was a stated purpose that the purpose of the NREGA.
Forget it.
The purpose of the NREGA.
It was redistributed.
The purpose of the NREGA was financial inclusion. The most startling statistic, Meghnad Desai, you can rubbish it, is that the jobs created for the most marginalized sections have suffered the biggest decline in recent times, which is an indicator that the jobs and the wealth are going to only the people who are already the dominant communities in society. So the very purpose of MNREGA has been completely torn apart and demolished. Why is the government continuing to invest in it?
Lord Desai is right in saying that despite all the leakages, despite the inefficiency and corruption,
you say it works.
Narega it has increased rural wages. But the fact is, wait a minute. The fact is, they could have got much bigger bang for the buck if they had not been fighting internally on issues like cash transfer and dragged it on for so many years, and now suddenly realized at the end of 4 years of internal infighting that actually a much better way of improving rural purchasing power is to suddenly put all their eggs in the basket of cash transfer, and they've wasted so much time that they're really not ready to roll out everything in 1 year. But having said that, if you adjust for inflation, they really haven't given very much money to any of these schemes. And if you talk about the focus on the underprivileged, there's a lot of tokenism. I mean, I welcome what's happened for women.
Tokenism for the underprivileged.
I welcome what's happened for women, but the sums are very small. In terms of the underprivileged, look at what they are giving to the KBK districts in Orissa. A pittance.
Answer that.
Like Rajiv Vidya Mission, that Sarvasiksha ban, the huge increase, 43% increase in that. That's really helping in the rural infrastructure of schools particularly.
The entire education budget. In fact,
we're targeting the power loom, handloom, khadi sector.
No, if you adjust for inflation, now we all know that the revised estimates last year were low because of squeezing. But if you compare to the budget estimates beginning of last year, and adjust for inflation, almost all the schemes have had no increase. Education is one area that has had a little bit of increase, but you adjust,
change.
Vivek,
the difference it's made in Rajiv Vidya.
Vivek, do you agree with Jay Panda's assessment that there is large amount of tokenism that the government is indulging in? Especially with regard to, its stated objectives for women, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Just when we were coming out of Parliament, and one woman had a very interesting observation that he's opening a bank for us, but is he going to give us the money to put in the bank? I think not. And, as far as the youth is concerned, they have two very simple questions. They said, we need cheaper education loans to complete our higher education, which is increasingly getting costly in this country. And second, we need cheap finance so that we can start our enterprise. We need finance at 6%, 7%, not at 15%. Is this budget going to address that concern? I think not.
No spillover effect of the investment that he's made in education?
But whatever it is, I still need loans to complete my education. Am I going to get it cheap? Now, everyone knows for an MBA, for an MBA, for an MBBS, for an engineering, you need 20-25 lakh rupees.
Scholarships available to the students now. Minority students, every student scholarships are available through the bank.
But what is the amount?
It is Indian students going abroad for...
No, I'm talking about Indian students studying here.
The government is like, we already started 16...
I'm talking about Indian students studying here. I'm talking about Indian students...
More money for higher education.
The scholarships are all restricted up to 20-25,000.
Even for other countries.
No, I'm not talking about higher education in other countries. I am talking about the capitation fees required by the MBBS colleges. I am talking about the engineering fees required by private colleges. I am talking about the MBA institutes. I am talking about that when you go to a bank and ask for a loan of 4 lakh rupees, he says, get collateral.
No, I think what he has said correct. Tokenism is there. But the question is this. If you go in a private, MBA institute, they charge 5 lakhs, 7 lakh, 8 lakh according to their status. In a medical college, now for MD, you have to pay 1.5 crore, then you get In the private medical colleges, you have to pay 2 and 3.
What is your
government has stopped.
This constant criticizing everything is something the left will have to. You criticize the government for not addressing the core concern of revenue generation.
No,
had the government increased taxes or imposed additional taxes to generate revenue, you would have criticized that. You oppose FDI, which is a tool of revenue generation. You oppose disinvestment of PSUs in the past, and you will continue to propose it in the future.
You go on telling the public sector.
My question is, what?
I'm just asking.
My question is,
I'm only one question.
On what grounds?
One question. I'm question.
I'm challenging you tonight. On what grounds? On what grounds do you question the government on revenue generation?
Last 1 year, you were discussing all the time corruption. Corruption. I say the black money which is in our country. The black money, more than 50 lakh or 60 lakh crores every year, here and there. Almost I can say here, most of our black money is now landed in Dubai. What action, what sort of thing government of India in this budget has taken, we discussed. Pranab Mukherjee has made many claims that with 20 countries, with 30 countries, what happened? Is there anything in that?
Are you saying the only way to generate revenue in this country is bringing back black money?
I make a point of in the income tax department there are lakhs of you see.
I have a solution. I have a solution to one problem.
Only one point with this one company, 41,000 crore rupees are lying, and we have failed to settle it.
Well, you will not get it overnight.
No.
I have a solution to that problem.
50 years.
You meant the former finance minister.
After 50 years we will.
I want even Smriti Irani will disagree with you.
No.
You know, on your constant
I am saying everybody
policy.
is. Are Baba, some people are, you see, wanted to throw us in Bay of Bengal. What happened there? I don't want to say. You also say.
Nobody. Smriti is not even saying anything about the difficult situation that Mr. Chidambaram is in. Heart of hearts, the BJP leaders are privately saying, we know the constraints. Even left leaders are conceding that, but you are maintaining opposition. Smriti, my question is, you are maintaining opposition for appearances. Admit this tonight. You are opposing to oppose because you cannot be seen to support.
Can I now? I got the question, so you can stop. I think that it's quite unfortunate that you question anybody's right to criticize this government given the number of scams that Times Now has exposed. It's surprisingly question the right to criticize the government where time and again it has been proved that the government only limits itself to sloganeering and does not perform on the ground. Mr. Yakshi has made many malicious accusations against the state of Gujarat. Ironically, he himself comes from the state of Andhra Pradesh, where 6,000 farmers have committed suicide, a state which is being governed by the Congress party.
6,000.
Can I please, Mr. Yakshi, let me finish.
Small number. Number is more higher.
In fact, I would, Mr. Yakshi, let me finish.
In Rayalaseema area itself is more than 6,000.
Can I just finish? Okay, it's your government in the center which makes it absolutely clear that when it comes to rural development, the #1 panchayat in the entire country exists in Gujarat by the name of Punsari. When you speak about Arnab, why we criticize, we see clearly that here we have a state which is governed well and which delivers all that the people so desire out of that government. When it comes to rural development, it is the only state where all the villages are electrified. Can I finish, Mr. Yakshi, before you intervene again?
Please, madam.
Let me now quote to you your own government, okay? I quoted to you your own government when it came to the National Skill Development Fund. On the same page on top, sir, and I'll happily give this book to you tomorrow morning in Parliament. Unfortunately, you've not read your own government's document. On the top of it, it's written that the Women's Self-Help Group Development Fund, for which your government had announced a 300 crore corpus. That money is still not released. Why? Because your government is waiting for a utilization certificate from NABARD. Vis-a-vis Gujarat, where Mission Mangalam has spent 1,600 crores to employ 25 lakh women. So, Arnab, when you question why this government is being criticized in tough times, the first question you should ask this government is that why in the year 2004, when Mr. Chidambaram inherited power and claimed on the floor of the House that the coffers are full, is it that the same government, the same party leading the government in the center today cries helplessness because the coffers are empty? So while you had many ministers talking about course corrections in the last 100 days, Why is it that nobody questions them as to why they went wrong in governance?
Smriti.
In my state, Andhra Pradesh, from 300 to 7,000 crores we spent on women's self-help growth.
Okay, 1 minute.
Which figure are you getting it?
Smriti and Madhukar, I think this fact can continue for some time. Nobody is lying. Nobody is lying.
My figures.
Nobody. It's a question of interpretation. 1 minute. And please don't say, I'm not going to stop you from criticizing the government. I'm not holding a candle for anyone, including the government. Navika said it's all about politics. We forgot all about that. This is all about the election.
You're discussing women's self-help groups.
You're discussing women.
My question to you is, everybody was looking at this budget. On what indication is it going to give? Are the elections going to be in the end of 2013 or are we looking at 2014? Are you confident with this kind of a budget you can go back to Andhra Pradesh and expect to get votes for the next election?
This budget for the next century and vision for the country. We are not looking for elections.
I am very impressed. Impressed with your hyperbole.
Some of the opposition MPs in the central hall, after the budget, they said, "Oh, we thought you may be presenting budget for the next election." After that they said, now we are confident that elections is going to be in 2014. Our budget never
the next budget will be populist. The next budget will be populist.
Please listen to the wiser Goswami. Listen to wiser Goswami.
Year of the Lord 2013, if you say this is the budget for the next century, I am most impressed by your hyperbole.
Meghnad Desai is maintaining a studied and aloof silence. Meghnad Desai.
This budget is not going to help win the next election.
So your best election
it's the best this government can do, but it can't do very much because of the mess it has made for itself. But this budget is not going to help it win election.
I have a question for Nainalal Kidwai, and I must admire the patience with which she's been listening through this. I'm coming to Smriti. Would you believe those politicians who say that we have now made a dramatic difference in the way we approach governance, henceforth forever? A budget will never be an instrument of politics or political appeasement. And this, therefore, in 2013 is the year of change. Would you believe those who say that, Ms. Kidwai?
I would say that it is at a time of crisis like this, and it is a time of crisis for the country. I think the significance of the crisis that we face in terms of having a rating which will drop us down to junk rate is one that should really be engaging every political party and every one of us who are citizens of this country, because the price and the cost that we will have to pay for that is huge. I don't think we fully recognize the nature of the crisis today. If we did, I think we should really be marching together to say this is a time where expenditures, even at the levels that they have been fixed at this budget, are possibly more than we actually need, and we have to be able to get revenues and growth up. We have to work at this together. We all know that GST will add 2% to the GDP. Why aren't we putting that in now? Because it will benefit any government that comes in 2014. Why aren't we sorting out issues to do with the power sector that sit before a cabinet which is made up of many parties, albeit it is the ruling coalition? Because at the end of the day, we need those projects sorted out in order to move into the whole next couple of years of growth and having just simply power and electricity given to our people no matter where. So I think there are certain key issues which we have to resolve on a war footing together, irrespective of party. Things that will benefit our people at every level, and growth is certainly one of them. And I think what is disappointing is across parties today, we are not having that coming together on a common platform of we need to fix this. We should fix it now because there is an election, and it will impact whoever comes to power, because it will take at least that long, a year and a half, for any of these major initiatives today to yield benefit. So whoever's in power then will actually benefit from it.
wrap this up at this point. It's been
But I think one thing, Arnab.
He should be the next Prime Minister.
How this budget will affect the people. I think by the end of this year, when many state assembly elections will be there, the result will show whether these policies have been taken in a positive way by the people.
I put that question to all Times Now viewers on behalf of Navika and myself at the end of this marathon coverage. The question is, do you think our polity has reached a certain level of maturity? We've divorced the economy from politics. Is that the story of the budget? Or is it only because, as of now, on the 28th of February, their hands are tied? Exactly. I'd like to hear from you on that. Thank you very much for following our coverage from the entire team here. Till tomorrow, good night and goodbye.
ये है उभरता हुआ भारत। इसकी गारंटी कौन लेता है? आसमान को छूती इमारतों में चैन की नींद की गारंटी।
JK Lakshmi Cement, मजबूती guaranteed.
Budget update brought to you by RB Sanjeev Goenka Group.
When I wanted to take a life insurance policy, I visited the LIC website. It's so user-friendly. You can choose a policy, make a premium payment, and do a lot more. Why go anywhere else?
Touch. Feel. In touch. Sarah, luxury design that reflects your style.
This is coal and this is water. Good. Now let's take lots of coal and a little water. They generate X amount of power. But because so much coal was used, the earth... Let's change things around. This is coal and this is water. Okay, now let's knock off some coal and add some water. Ah, that's a good mix. They generate the same amount of power as before. But guess what? Because we make more hydropower, which is greener, the earth stays beautiful. This is just one of the many ways in which we create power for a happy planet. Jai Prakash Power Ventures Limited, the power to do good.
That's my shop. Afraid of losses in your shop? Thoda simple socho. With National Insurance's Shopkeepers Insurance. Prompt service, hassle-free process, fair settlements. Simple.
Toyota, Wakudoki, inside.
कहीं भी कभी भी इंश्योर करवाए ओरिएंटल का ऑनलाइन इंश्योरेंस अपनाए
खुशियों का इंस्टेंट इंश्योरेंस लॉग ऑन टू www.orientalinsurance.org.in
Even the ants know it, don't you? Almost all sweeteners contain chemicals like aspartame, except Sweetwell. Nothing artificial, fully natural, 0 calories.
आपने बुलाया इसलिए आए हैं तो क्या
भारतीय एक्सा ने बदला है सुरक्षा का नजरिया अपनी डेडिकेटेड क्लेम्स हैंडलर से।
अब आपके क्लेम सेटलमेंट प्रोसेस को सरल बनाने में हम आपकी सहायता करेंगे।
तभी तो एक्सा दुनिया के बेहतरीन इंश्योरेंस कंपनियों में से एक है। भारतीय एक्सा, सुरक्षा का नया नजरिया।
If you felt the energies of these businesses, then you felt the energy of Murugappa. Bet we've met Murugappa.
बरसों की रिसर्च से बना लिव प्योर, इंडियाज फर्स्ट इंटेलिजेंट आरओ वाटर प्यूरिफायर जो दे सबसे शुद्ध पानी।
Come on India, live pure.
Before you realize, your loved ones will grow. What about your money? For incredible investment opportunities, talk to SMC. Moneywise, be wise.
Budget update brought to you by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group.
विमल में है कश्मीरी केसर, जिसके स्वाद में डूब रहे हैं सब। विमल पान मसाला, दाने दाने में केसर का दम।
सुबह शाम चाय का प्याला आराम से पियो प्याला।
उठो, चाय पियो, इंडिया को आगे बढ़ाओ। बोले तो आमेद चाय, रियल लाइफ रियल टी।
बैठो ना बेटा। राजन जी, समोसा खाइए, गरम गरम है?
और कोई ऑप्शन?
पहले लड़की को देख लेते हैं।
अरे बुलाओ भाई। बिटिया आ गई। बच्चों को हम कुछ दे दें।
अच्छी है, पर और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है।
वो क्या है, राजन जी को magicbricks.com की आदत लगी है। मनपसंद प्रॉपर्टीज के सबसे ज्यादा ऑप्शंस। magicbricks.com।
आज क्या बात है?
आनंद।
बड़े खुश लग रहे हो।
परम आनंद।
कुछ बताओगे भी?
निर्मल आनंद।
LIC जीवन आनंद, मेजॉरिटी पर सम एश्योर्ड और बोनस, उसके बाद भी जीवन भर इंश्योरेंस का भरोसा।
मिली वो, हम, तुम और वो तो आनंद ही आनंद।
Amidst wide anticipation of taxing the super rich,
obliges companies.
The Finance Minister announced a new surcharge for individuals earning ₹1 crore or more a year.
But, Madam, I may add, the additional surcharges will be in force for only 1 year, that is financial year 2013.
The proposal is to levy a 10% surcharge on incomes above ₹1 crore for 1 year. A proposal that will cover 42,800 individuals and entities. Earlier, a 30.9% tax was levied on income above 1 crore rupees. Now, after the additional surcharge, 33.99% will be levied on incomes above 1 crore. The Finance Minister, quoting Wipro Chairman Azim Premji, who had supported taxing the rich at a higher rate, a move welcomed by corporate India.
He has managed to stay on that tightrope. He has managed to send positive signals
And as I said this morning, it is not a surprise that he imposed the surcharge on the, on the wealthy, that he imposed a, corporate tax, a surcharge on corporate tax, which are important.
In the budget investment allowance, the fact that taxes have come more by way of a surcharge, and that too for 1 year, are really an indication that the desire is not to kill the golden goose that lays the eggs, but to nurture industry back to strength.
The finance minister offering minor sops to low-income groups, but taxing the super-rich. Bureau Report, Times Now.
Presented by Aditya Birla Group, taking India to the world. Co-presented by JP, Power to do good.
Powered by State Bank of India, best home and car loan provider.
Driven by Toyota Etios.
In association with Max. For life, SMC, money-wise, be-wise.
ये है उभरता हुआ भारत।